Hello again YouTube, Mad Dog here. Welcome back to my channel. So on tonight's little video, I just thought I'd show you guys and lasses a bit of a look round this little fella. And this is my ceramic striker, Ferro Rod striker, which I do currently sell on my eBay shop. I just thought I'd do a little bit of a more in-depth video around why I believe this is more superior than the standard Ferro Rod striker. So stay with me, stay tuned, and we'll have a look around that. Okay, so what I've got here is, this is one of my Ferro Rod ceramic strikers, and this is how it will come packaged basically, or brought from my little eBay shop. I just open this up. All my products come in these little Ziploc bags because they are multi-use. The actual product itself is a hardwood tool handled ceramic striker. As you can see, I do a reasonable lanyard of paracord with this, a small non-load bearing carabiner, basically just a clip, so that you're able to attach this striker to an existing Ferro Rod kit, or your belt, or your Bergen rucksack, any other kit items you may have, easily attachable using that. Again, non-load bearing, purely just to add this onto something else. The handle, like I say, hardwood tool handle design with a good chrome crimped end there, and into which I've encapsulated the piece of ceramic. It is engineering standard ceramic. I use a very well known adhesive, twin pack adhesive epoxy resin, to encapsulate the ceramic piece into that tool handle, so this thing isn't coming out unless you really abuse the hell out of this. And I have done that. I've torture tested these things and I haven't got one to come out yet. However, going on to the subject of torture testing these little fellas, I'm going to be doing just that later on, just to show you the do's and don'ts regarding this. So let's have a closer look at what we can use this for and why it is advantageous over a standard type of Ferro Rod striker. Stay with me. Okay, so down here on the bench I've got, you might call it a home use version of the ceramic striker. It's the same epoxy glue, the same ceramic insert that I use on all my equipment, all my products. However, the handle is a lesser quality, light pine wood, soft, poorly made, Chinese imported sort of rough ass thing, and this is purely for my own use, purely for experimental purposes, demonstrations, etc. So this is not the finished product that you will receive if you go ahead and buy one of my ceramic strikers. Just wanted to make that perfectly clear from the offset of this video. The reasons will become apparent later on. So, standard sort of, you know, ferro striker. So straight into this, let's go into performance. For this I'm going to use my Mad Dog Monster. This is again a prototype of my Mad Dog Monster. If you do buy a Mad Dog Monster, it will come supplied with a Ferro Rod ceramic striker, but the handle, the scale, will be made of the same tiger wood, as I call it, so that you've got a nice matching pair with that set. So straight away I'm sort of digressing from the subject in hand. So the Ferro Rod itself, we're going to strike this with a standard, you know, it comes standard with most Ferro Rods, whether it be a BCB, a Miltech, a Chinese brought thing, whatever it may be. So we're going to just get this the right way up here and have a few strikes with my Mad Dog Monster, and like I say, I'm going to put some good effort into this. I'm gripping it properly, there's no funny stuff going on here, and I'm going to give it the beans. So let me pan you up here a little ways just to show you properly. So I'm doing this properly as I can, I'm not messing about, and that's the sort of output that you will expect to get from said standard striker. So moving on to my ceramic striker, again I'm going to hold this more lightly, so using the sharp one of the 90-degree edges there, like you would with any striker. I'm going to go again, nothing different, nothing you can see straight away, I'm not doing anything different, but crikey me, that's throwing way more material off. Wow, set the bench on fire. It's a lot more efficient at removing ferro cerium rod material. As you can see, that roll effect, that's what we want for a successful firelight and ignition source. So straight away the performance is much increased in my opinion over a standard striker. However, the Ferro Rod ceramic striker has other uses as well, which I'll cut to in the next part of this video. Stay tuned. Okay, so here we have a little Browning folding pocket knife, quick deployment knife. So the ceramic striker can also be used as, I won't say a sharpening device per se, however you can use this with the edge of one of those many 90-degree spine edges that I have on there. I can use this to hone or re-hone an edge onto a blade's bevel or edge, cutting edge, using the ceramic striker, because usually it will be harder than the steel that you're trying to hone. So any micro beveling, any rolled edges, small dinks, things like that, you will be able to basically polish or hone out using that ceramic striker, which is a big advantage over a standard striker. Obviously you can't do that with that. So another advantage of the ceramic striker over the standard striker. Okay, so next up we have tinder procurement or collection. So here I've got a nice piece of recently collected, it's sort of semi-fat wood if you like, and this is obviously pine wood that me and my Mrs. Mad Dog have recently collected from Sherwood Forest. We've been away over the past couple of weekends back into Sherwood Forest, just mooching about there in the woods, collecting various items. Anyway, so there is a good vein of fat wood in this piece of wood here, and using again the ceramic striker I can take that said piece of wood and obviously quite quickly and efficiently gather a nice little tinder pile. So whilst I'm always a big advocate of taking your time when it comes to the subject of firelighting, I would rather take my time and do it correctly once than over and over again badly. That's just my mindset, my theory, each to their own. However, I'm doing this quickly and rough-assed purely because I'm aware of the length and time of this video, but I really am giving this the beans with this ceramic striker. In fact, I'll go like that just to show you can really put some pressure on this and it isn't going to hurt it at all. You know, I really do seat this in well regarding the bonding between the handle and the actual ceramic insert. So as you can see, plenty of material, hopefully if I get this in camera shot, coming off there nice and easy. So again, bring on the Mad Dog Monster, and so let me pan you down here just a little ways, do excuse me, and there we go, pretty much one strike. We have our fat wood tinder, easy fire, you know, anytime you want. So again, I'll just try and pat this out a little ways. No problem at all in procuring tinder. And just moving on from that, here I've got some polypore mushroom off the birch tree, again from Sherwood Forest. So just quickly, as you can see, the flutes within this mushroom fungus are they run vertical. So underneath you have lots of small holes, micro holes, which is where this mushroom gets its name from. Polypore, you know, many holes, many poruses. But in between that and the crusty outer layer, there is this lighter brown, almost leatherish looking material, and that's amadou. That is what we process to get the famous amadou firelighting material. And again, with a dry polypore mushroom, you can take your ceramic striker, assuming you haven't got a knife, etc., and scrape out, some have said amadou, until you get an equivalent bundle that I've done with the fat wood. Throw your sparks into that. It won't burst into flames like the fat wood has done, but it will give you a really good hot, long, slow burning coal, which you can then obviously transfer to your bird's nest or some dry kindling material and blow it to flame. So again, dead easy, reliable form of firelighting in adverse conditions. Or I'm just showing off the ceramic striker with a ferro rod without a knife, basically. That's the sort of point I'm making here. That's the advantage of this over a standard small steel, you know, ferro rod striker. The same can be said for this, and this is like a horse hoof fungus, which I've also got off a birch tree up there in Sherwood Forest. You can smash this open, break it open, and throw some sparks into some of that, and it will create a coal that burns very slowly, very hot, and you can carry that with you for a long extended period of time, enabling you to carry your fire or next fire with you to wherever you're going for as long as that coal will burn or is fed oxygen. So another good little tip, the horsehoof fungus. Just on a footnote, this is the polypore mushroom, or one of them, when it's fresh or reasonably fresh. This has darkened slightly because it was one of a group of mushrooms that was exposed, not covered by foliage, etc., so it's gone dark. But underneath, hopefully, I don't know if this will pick up in this terrible lighting. Let me try and get it better in focus there. Hopefully you'll see that the underside is made up of really small micro dots, and each one of those dots, probably my camera's not good enough to focus in on that, each one of those dots is a vertical vein which contains spores. Again, hence the name, these little flutes that run vertical. So that's like a cross section of that, if you like. Each one of those flutes contains the spores for this mushroom to breed and carry on growing. Anyway, there's lots of uses for this. I'm digressing. It's called the strop mushroom and other things. You can use it for first aid, sticking plasters, etc. The polypore mushroom, when it's dry and cured, as you can see by this one here where I've been attacking it, you can actually use this to get a bow drill ember. So using the same method, use this as a hearth board, use the same method as a standard bow drill or hand drill. If you're proficient enough, you can actually get an ember from a well dried, and that's the key here, well dried polypore mushroom. They do drill into very nicely, very softly, creating a nice coal dust bed which you can, with practice, ignite into an ember. Digressing massively. So before I close, I'll just pan you back up here a little ways. So I'll just cut the video again now, move on to another subject regarding the ceramic striker. Another little by use with this is you can actually cut cordage. So I've got myself some jute twine here, and you can, might take you a couple of goes, but you can cut through cordage with this. Not brilliant, not ideal, but something is always better than nothing, which compared to the standard ferro rod striker will outperform that. So with it being sharper and retaining a good 90-degree edge or edges. Okay, another use in fire procurement is if you've got a tinder which is man-made, like here I've got one of my Mad Dog fire wicks, or if you've brought some of my Mad Dog jewels or fire biscuits, or have something similar. I'm not just going to promote my stuff, it's I'm just using my branded name so I don't get into trouble with YouTube or anybody else, whatever you choose to carry. So you're going to need to open the fibres up of said tinder. So we're going to use our ceramic striker to open those fibres up like you would with any fire tinder until you've got it nice and fluffy, creating a big surface area. Obviously that way you're able to catch your sparks from your ferro rod. So again, bring on the Mad Dog monster and pin that down a little ways, and okay, hopefully you can see, there we go. Yep, we've got the old this is one of my Mad Dog fire wicks. They are quite effective, these are. I do carry all my stuff myself, so I'm not just selling stuff that I would not carry myself. These are good in the fact that you can stand them vertically and use them as like a candle. Let me just bang the lights out here and give you a demo. So they will burn for many minutes like that, or you can lay them obviously like linear, and the flame will carry along that wick and create a really hot fire lighting ignition source. You know, you've got to go a long ways not to be able to get a fire lit off one of these. Or you can do what I usually do, is cut these into sections, into segments, and carry small billets of it into different fire kits, and use them as individual fire lighters. But as you can see, if you stand it upright like that, I mean, I give a time of, when you buy these like fire wicks, I give a time of like 7 to 10 minutes. And that's a broad spectrum, because if you use them like that, you'll probably get 7 or 8 minutes. If you use them like that, you may get 15. So it's an average. But I do recommend them, and I'm not just saying it because I'm obviously selling them. I make next to no money on these when you consider the time that goes into them and the resource. But they are very effective firelighters. They really are. They're good. So again, that's the Mad Dog fire wicks. Again, I'm just showing the capabilities of the ceramic strikers. You know, they are multi-purpose, they're multi-use. I would recommend anybody trying one before you judge them, as in, yeah, okay, they might be aesthetically not the prettiest thing in the world. You know, like I think I've shown on other videos, you know, it is a tall handle. And no, they're not massively long, but the insert that I acquire isn't that long to start with, so I want to make sure that it is well encapsulated and well strong and not going to come out, you know. So that's as much as you're going to get, guys and lasses, but in truth that's as much as you need if you know how to use these things properly. If you can't get a fire lit with this, then there is something wrong somewhere. Just my opinion. Anyway, like I say, I've rambled on way too long, so I'm going to go now and move on to the next bit of this video and then wrap up. Take care. Okay, last but not least, this little bit of the video is pretty much for my good mate Jerry over at Jerry Outdoors and Woodworking Shop. He recently brought one of these little fellas off me, the proper finished product, which is obviously, like I said, like this. You know, it comes at a higher standard than this. I think what he's done is he's gone ahead and got a file or something, you know, a metal working file, and he's gone across the Ferro Rod striker, the ceramic striker, and he's filed it to see what's under the green coating, as he probably assumed, and he's thought, well, it's silver, it's grey under there, so I didn't realise it was metal. So what's happened there is, basically the ceramic is harder than the metal file. So all you've done, mate, is you've removed material, basically dulling your file, and the material has gone onto the back of the ceramic striker. There is no metal. There is no metal in this. It is 100% ceramic. So I've come over here to the vise. Shouldn't really do this. Always wear eye protection when you're doing this. What I'm going to do is just demonstrate that because it is ceramic, it is brittle. So I wouldn't recommend dropping it on its end onto stone or any other hard object. Take care of your striker like you would with a knife or any other bushcraft survival equipment. Don't drop it, don't abuse it, use it within its parameters and it will do you some good service. So I've got a ball peen hammer, the vise here, and as you can see, it is hard, but here we go. It does shatter. It has shattered and it's broken. However, if I can get this in focus here, hopefully, he says, you'll be able to see that right through the centre there, it is ceramic. There is no metallic particles in there. And if it was metal, I wouldn't be able to shatter it like that. So it is all ceramic all the way through. So before I close, even though this is broken and very, very short now, the bits that are left, albeit very diminished because I can only just strike on my rod now, it does still throw sparks, it does still work. So that's a bit of a look round my Mad Dog ceramic striker. I've sacrificed one purely to show that it is, that it is non-metallic in its construction. It is 100% ceramic, and that's for Jerry at Jerry's Wood Shop and Outdoors. So yeah, it is absolutely ceramic, brother. So anybody else that goes out there and buys one of these, look after them, don't drop them on their end because they will shatter, they will break. You can use these also, let me just like for cutting other ceramics, softer ceramics or glasses, like on this old Scotch bottle here. I've scribed around the neck there. Just let me show you here with this. Let me try and get this in camera shot. You can actually scribe and cut glass. This will pick up in this terrible lighting, to the point where if you do it repeatedly, you can actually bang that and cut at that point. You know, creating useful utensils in a survival situation if you need to. Don't recommend that, but anyways, somebody else has also asked me, does the ceramic wear out? Well, the short answer is no, if you use it correctly with a ferrocerium rod as it was designed and it is meant to be used with, because obviously the ceramic striker is harder than the ferro rod, so therefore won't wear out. It will, however, potentially shorten the lifespan of your ferro rod because it does remove a lot of ferro material, cerium material. But for me, that is using that material efficiently rather than just gently in a few little sparks that are cool. That's great when you're using cotton wool and kapok and all the natural or man-made beginners tinders. If you're using proper fat wood, proper birch bark or mushroom tinders, real life natural tinders, then you need to be able to really throw some material off your ferro rod with it still containing enough heat in that material to emit that heat into your tinder. Just my opinion. So yeah, in closing, a broken ceramic striker from Mad Dog. Like I say, the finished product that you'll receive is like this. Another question quickly to be answered is, do I sell the inserts individually? No, I don't, and no, I won't. Yes, I have to acquire them, buy them bulk. Yes, they are expensive, that's why I have to buy them bulk. I don't make a lot of money on these for the price that I charge. When you consider everything from the bag, the cordage, the clips, the handles, the strikers, the P&P, the eBay shop charges, the PayPal charges, I do not make massive profit on these. But I do think they are worth buying. I carry them myself on all my ferro rod kits. And again, that's why I sell them, because I believe in them. And I do believe that they are good value for money, and they are reliable if you treat them with respect like anything else. Anyway, I've rambled on way too long about this, but I did want to show this striker in a little bit more detail, just so that some of the finer points, you might say, aren't overlooked by it just being a ferro rod striker. So forgive me for those of you that know, and this is redundancy, and I hope this has been useful for you guys and lasses that probably haven't realised some of the items that I've shown here. Anyway, until next time, Mad Dog signing off. Have a great weekend, take care out there, and I will see you all soon, which won't be long. Yeah!